Nous reconnaissons que nous faisons cette annonce sur le territoire traditionnel et non cédé des peuples Anishinaabe algonquins. Nous reconnaissons aussi les peuples autochtones tout à travers de l'île de la Tortue. Nous écoutons à vos histoires et à vos difficultés causées par notre gouvernement et nous créons nos politiques législatives en nous appuyant sur les conclusions de la Commission de vérité et réconciliation du Canada. We would like to acknowledge that we're making this announcement today from the traditional unceded territory of the Algonquin Anishinaabe peoples of all Indigenous people across the Turtle Island. We are listening to your voices, stories, and challenges caused by the government and creating our legislative policies informed by the Truth and Reconciliation Commissions of Canada.
Hello, everybody. My name is Leo. I am one of the many new candidates that have joined the Revolution Party since the last conference that we did. And I will be representing in East Vancouver when the time comes. I just want to take a minute to address the heartbreaking events that were witnessed in Vancouver in the recent times. On April 26th, what should have been a celebration at the Lapu Lapu Festival for the Filipino community in Vancouver, multiple lives were tragically lost and many more were injured, some still in critical condition. And just the week before, on April 15th, a woman was violently attacked in Cole Harbour. Both of these incidents caused by persons with severe mental illness, people who were failed by our mental health system. And these are not isolated incidents. These are painful reminders that our approach to mental health is failing and at a steep cost to public safety. We really need to expand and reform our mental health programs, and our federal leaders can help with that. They have a duty to step up and ensure adequate funding for harm reduction and mental wellness programs. Police should also be directed to use the mental health laws we already have, like the Provincial Mental Health Act, to get people who are suffering from dangerous mental illness episodes off the streets and into hospitals or long-term psychiatric care, instead of trying to put mentally ill people in jail. It's simple. This is a public health issue, not a criminal issue. And Canadians should not be asked to endure this level of risk to their safety anymore. The only feasible and rational solution is to treat this as a public health crisis that it is, and to provide assistance to those most at risk of succumbing to mental illness, who are often the most marginalized in our society. People who struggle to access basic needs, usually. The more we help pull people up, the less danger to the public. That being said, if you or someone you know are experiencing an urgent mental health crisis, please seek help, please talk to someone. And remember, you can contact 988 to reach the National Crisis Line to speak to somebody if you don't have anyone around you. Thank you.
Thank you very much. What we are here to talk about, to underline today, is the rapid growth of our party. We started this election with about a dozen candidates, and we have tripled in just 3 weeks. Now we have 31 candidates, 17 applicants, and hundreds of volunteers across the country. As we continue to grow from the grassroots, the Revolution Party of Canada has a vision for the future, and it connects with people across the country. We encourage you to reach out, ask questions, and tell us your concerns. Or better yet, join us and get involved in the movement as we continue to focus on our 3 priorities: food, shelter, livable environment, tax the rich, and electoral reform.
Thank you. On the point of electoral reform, first past the post has turned Canada into a de facto two-party system as it's done in America, and we're all now witnessing what that bears fruit. We understand that for many Canadians, this is the only electoral system that we've ever known, myself included, and as humans, we're inherently partial to changes. Inertia keeps us at rest, and we acknowledge that it can be overwhelming to look at different options of electoral systems, and these are debates we've had for decades, but this is something that cannot go on. We've seen results in the Ontario provincial election, and now in this election as well. The system is rigged. It's rigged against small parties, including the NDP and including the Greens and all of the other parties, the communist parties, and our growing party as well. It is actively hurting us all, and we cannot allow complacency or anxiety to slow down civil progress. A system that may award a majority government to a party that did not win a majority of the seats is not representative of the people. A system in which full control is futile to fight against by the smaller parties.
And similarly to this, one of the parties that was affected the most by this is, of course, the NDP, which saw effectively, in regards to the seat count, an entire collapse. And we got ourselves here as leftists because they failed ourselves as Canadians and themselves in a multitude of ways. Firstly, they failed to push for genuine electoral reform issues above all else, which effectively enabled and reinforced the desire, especially in this election, for strategic voting, which has cost them dearly, resulting in one of the worst results for the progressive vote in the last century. The new Democratic executive and leadership has turned towards the center with tepid policy, and as such, has lost their place on the left and are now seen as many by diet liberals. The NDP's result in this election, while influenced by many factors, were so underwhelming not because the public perceives the NDP to be too far left, but because they are not able to differentiate themselves enough from the liberals. The NDP are occupying what is perceived as the left, whose half-hearted social democracy is believed by many to be socialist, while they shamelessly bow down to the market and the billionaire class. They do not fight for a truly equitable future for Canada. They propose only band-aids on bullet holes. The left needs to unite a real progressive movement that works for all Canadians, to put aside ideological purity in favor of cooperation and waging against the current conditions at present, and to no longer default to the NDP, even when they disappoint the working class at seemingly every turn. No change will come if we allow them to exercise their position as the party on the left unchecked. We've seen what happens. They move away from genuine progressive policy, and we must ensure that a legitimate socialist party exists and thrives in Canada, and we intend to fill that void.
So our first call to action today, as Chloe pointed out earlier, is we're asking folks to join the revolution. And as Chloe pointed out, just 3 weeks ago, it was actually just over 3 weeks ago yesterday, and we're now picking up steam. We're almost going to be 50 candidates very soon. We don't see any reason or have any issues getting to 343 candidates in advance of the next election. Obviously, the final results are being tallied of this election, and we believe it will be a minority government, and that does tend to be between 18 months and 24 months in terms of how long those types of governments survive, and we'll be ready. We are already planning and organizing for the next election as we speak, as soon as we leave this room. And we will be supporting a full slate of candidates. And that means we need thousands of roles of all kinds. That could be volunteers, door knocking canvassers, everyone to positions in our federal council. So that's leadership positions. We are looking for folks of all backgrounds, all skill sets, all ages, all identities to join us if you believe in our message. We have, as I said, begun planning for the next election, but in preparation for that, we'll also be hosting just shortly after this, later this year, our inaugural caucus, which will allow us to vote democratically on that leadership team, build out the organizational tools and structure, and accelerate our planning for the next election. So please join us and have your say in how our party and the revolution should go.
Why I decided to become a Revolution Party of candidate this year was because there's only two parties left in our system. And since they've been founded, both these countries, both the parties have been founded by the elites. And we need to, the challenge is I decided to run because to become a Liberal candidate to leader, it costs $350,000 to challenge Mark Carney on stage. And to challenge the Conservative Party would only cost $300,000. So for once, the Conservatives are doing something better than the Liberal Party. Only in the 21st century, Canada's only used first past the post, and it has to change. We're a party that's decided to buck the trend of what we're supposed to be doing and bring ourselves towards the future. And we're going to be here and ready for the next time the Liberals or the Conservatives decide to call another snap election to allow the millionaire class run this country further. And I'd just like to say thank you for being able to join such a great young party that's looking towards the future. And when they call the revolution, when they call their next time for an election, we're ready to start the revolution. I'd like to say if there's any questions to the press.
We don't have any question at the moment. Nous n'avons pas de questions pour le moment. Is there something you would like to add to your statement?
So just to repeat our two calls to action, please join the revolution, join revolutionparty.ca for any of our positions, volunteer members or candidates, and speak to your candidates, the ones that just won, hold them to account, ask them, demand from them that they support an electoral reform prior to the next election, whether that means ranked choice or proportional representation, which we prefer. Demand that of your candidates, and we'll see you at the next election. Thank you very much.
Thank you. This concludes the press conference. Merci. C'est ce qui conclut cette conférence de presse.